Hi, I'm Katie Green. I have a story I'd like to tell you. You need to know that in Cornwall, southern England, there are buccas. Bucca. A bucca is kind of a hobgoblin or a spirit, a fairy. There are two kinds of bucca. There's bucka-do, who is big and mean and fierce. And then there is bucka-gwydden. And bucka-gwydden is a smaller, more meek kind of bucca. Here's the story. There was a merry old woman who lived on a farm with her son and her daughter-in-law. And this old woman loved to go out at night. She played cards. She'd throw her pennies on the table and she'd win almost every time. She loved to dance. When there was music, she'd pull up her petticoats and she could dance her socks off. And singing, oh my, she would sing loud with her croaky voice. And after the party was over and she would be sauntering home, she loved to stop at the inn and have a couple of hot toddies just to keep the chill of the night air away. Now, her son and especially her daughter-in-law were very proper people. And they did not think that this was any way for an older woman to be behaving. She's bringing shame to our household, they said. And so it was decided that they would have to teach her a lesson, keep her home at night. The daughter-in-law threw a large sheet over her husband's head, and then she tied it around the neck and around the wrists, and she led him by the hand outside the house since he couldn't see very well with the sheet over his head, and she brought him to some bushes that were close to a stone wall with a stile over it. And because they knew that the old woman on her way home would have to climb over the stile to get home. The wife said to her husband, now you stay here by the bushes, and when you hear your mother coming and she's at the top of the stile, jump out, wave your arms and groan. That will scare her. She'll be so scared she won't want to go out at night ever again. And so the man stood there by the bushes and his wife went back to the house. He stood there and he waited for his mother to come. And he waited for a long time. Now, it was a dark and windy night, and the leaves were skittering and the branches were creaking. And you know how it is if you're out in the woods at night? A little mouse crawling around the leaves can sound just like a bear behind you. And the longer the man stood there, the more frightened he became. And then he started thinking about all of the stories he knew about Bucka-do, how Bucka-do had long claws and sharp teeth, and he became more and more frightened. But he did hear his mother skipping along the trail, coming closer, closer, closer to the stile. And he waited until he could tell that she was almost there. She was singing. Oh, there's nothing in this dark night except Bucka-do and me. Nothing in the dark night to see but Bucka-do and me. Hey, Bucka-do, you go along, go along. I'm not afraid of you. You scatter along, Bucka-do. And as soon as the man heard his mother talking to Bucka-do, his teeth started to chatter. But when his mother was on top of the stile, he did just what his wife told him to do. He jumped out, he waved his arms and said, woo! And the old woman, she sat down on the top of that stile and she started to laugh. Oh, if it's not sweet little Bucca Gwydden standing there. Oh my goodness, Bucca Gwydden. Bucca Gwydden, you'd better run along home now. Buckadoo is right behind me now. Buckadoo will see you, Bucca Gwydden, and Buckadoo will catch you and scratch your eyes out. Run home, Bucca Gwydden. Now that man did not have to be told twice. He turned around and he started to run. Now, of course, he had that sheet over him, so he couldn't see very well. He bumped into trees, he fell over stones, and then he stood back up, and he ran again. And all the while, the woman sat there on the stile laughing. She called out, "Oh, Bucca Gwydden, run faster, Bucca Gwydden. Buckadoo is coming after you. Oh, he's getting closer. Oh, Buckadoo's going to catch you. Run, Bucca Gwydden, run, Bucca Gwydden. Run, Buckadoo, run, Bucca Gwydden, run, Buckadoo." And that man ran and fell, and every single time a branch caught in his sheet, he thought it was Bucca Gwydden's teeth catching him. And if he ran into branches, he thought Buckadoo's arms were around him with the sharp claws. Oh, and the whole time the woman sat there calling out, "Run, Bucca Gwydden. Oh, Buckadoo is gonna catch you." Well, he did get home, more dead than alive. And no sooner had his wife taken the sheet off of him and sat him down in a chair so he could catch his breath, then the old woman walked in. What a night! What a night it was. Oh, I was coming along home and Buckadoo was following me. And then Bucca Gwydden jumped out of the bushes at us and waved his arms, and oh my, Bucca Gwydden. And then Buckadoo started chasing him, and Buckadoo chased Bucca Gwydden. Bucca Gwydden ran and Buckadoo chased him. Oh my, it was a merry, merry chase. Now, I cannot tell you if Buckadoo actually caught Bucca Gwydden. No. And I don't know what Buckadoo was wearing, but sure as I'm alive, Bucca Gwydden was wearing one of our sheets. And son, believe it or not, Bucca Gwydden's was wearing boots just like yours. And the son looked sheepish. The daughter was embarrassed. And they knew that the old woman was too clever for them. And after that, they never again attempted to keep the old woman home at night. And that merry old woman had a fine, happy life the rest of her days. And that's the story of Buckadoo.